Good morning. Everyone is welcome to the platform of the new Lyceum for English Literature. Dr. J K Tiwari here. I am an assistant professor of English at K.S. Saket Postgraduate College, Ayodhya. Today, I am going to talk about Sanskrit Poetics. The Indian Poetics is nothing but Sanskrit Poetics, which is an immortal encyclopedia of the theories and doctrines about poetry and drama. If you talk about the works, there are around hundreds of philosophers, hundreds of theorists, and thousands of theories in Indian poetics or in Sanskrit poetics. As I told you that Sanskrit poetics is an immortal encyclopedia of the theories and doctrines about poetry and drama. The first available book of this discipline is Natya Shastra. The first available book in this discipline is Natya Shastra, presumed to be authored by who wrote that book. Natya Shastra, presumed to be written by Bharat, who is accepted to be the first acharyas of the Sanskrit poetics. First acharya of Sanskrit poetics, acharya means aesthetician. First aesthetician of Sanskrit poetics is Bharat Muni. The last eminent acharya is Pandit Raj Jagannath. The last eminent acharya is Pandit Raj Jagannath, the author of Ras Gangadhar. Author of Ras Gangadhar. Ras Gangadhar is a text. Ras Gangadhar is a book in the field of Indian aesthetics, in the field of Indian poetics. As far as their periods are concerned, Bharat is believed to be belonging to between 2nd BC to 2nd AD. 2nd BC to 2nd AD. This is the probable time period of Bharat, and Pandit Raj Jagannath, the last acharya, his time period is between 17th century AD. The Sanskrit poetics thus is widespread over a period of 1.5 or around 2000 years. Within this period, the development of the doctrines of poetics had taken place continuously, though sometimes at slow and sometimes at a fast pace, as it happens in each and every theory, each and every philosophy. The stand regarding principles of poetry which was prevalent at the time of Bharat changed during the period of Bhama and Dandi. Bhama was the author of Kavya Alankar and Kavyadarsh. Kavyadarsh was written by Dandi and Bhama wrote Kavya Alankar. Bhama belonged to 6th century and Dandi belongs to 7th century. Bhama and Dandi. Kavya Alankar is a book by Bhama written in 6th century. Kavya Darsh by Dandi in 17th century. Bharat was an exponent of rasa. What is rasa? You might have heard the theory of rasa in your Hindi class or Sanskrit class. Rasas are sentiments. Rasas are sentiments while Bhama and Dandi were the exponent of Alankar. Bharat Muni was the exponent of rasa. Bhama and Dandi were the exponent of Alankar. Alankar, what is Alankar? Alankar means figures of speech, embellishment or figurative beauty. According to Dandi and Bhama, Rasha was taken to be a mode of Alankara. Rasha was taken to be a mode of Alankara. It is a method, it is a type, it is one of the roots of Alankara. Means Rash is the most important part in Sanskrit poetics. Right? Rash is the most important part, and Bharat Muni was the exponent of rasa, while the later acharyas who belong to 6th and 7th century AD, namely Bhama and Dandi, they were the propagator of Alankara, Ras and Alankar. These two forms. In the 19th century, this is, here I am talking about the development, I am talking about a survey of Sanskrit poetics. In the 9th century, three acharyas came, and those three acharyas were, who were those three acharyas? Vaman, Udbhat and Anandvardhan. Vaman, Udbhat and Anandvardhan, these three acharyas flourished during the 9th century. Vaman, Udbhat and Anandvardhan came into existence in this field. They are authors of Kavya Alankar Sutra Vritti, Kavya Alankar Sar Sangraha and Dhvanyalok in a respective order. Right? Vaman wrote Kavya Alankar Sutra Vritti, Udbhat wrote Kavya Alankar Sar Sangraha, and Dhvanyalok was written by Anandvardhan. Among these, Vamana supported Riti. Riti means style. Vamana supporting Riti poetic diction or style had declared it to be the Atma, essence or soul of poetry. Right? Atma, soul of poetry is Riti. Soul of poetry is Riti. Who thinks so? Soul of poetry is Riti. It was thought and propagated by Vaman. While Udbhat, who was the follower of Dandi and Bhama, he was an adherent of Alankara. And the third one, Anandvardhan, he accepted Dhwani and aesthetic suggestivity as the soul of all poetry. Right? Soul of poetry is Dhwani. Dhvani. Dhwani, aesthetic suggestivity as the soul of poetry. Bharat Muni, Rasa, Dandi and Bhama, Alankar, Vaman, Riti, Anandvardhan, Dhwani, and Udbhat was the follower of Bhama and Dandin. He adhered to Alankara. According to Baman, Riti or poetic diction is the soul of poetry, and according to Anandvardhan, aesthetic suggestivity, Dhwani is the soul of poetry. On the basis of this theory, he shifted the Sanskrit poetics into a new direction. That is why Anandvardhan is said to be an epoch-making Acharya. And the history of the Sanskrit poetics can be divided into three periods on the basis of his theory: pre-Dhwani theory, Dhwani period, pre-Dhwani period, Dhwani period, and then post-Dhwani period. Means the entire Sanskrit poetics revolves around Dhwani theory. Those who were before Dhwani, those who were before Anandvardhan, they belong to pre-Dhwani period. Those who were his contemporary, they belong to his period, that is Dhwani period. And those who came later, they belong to post-Dhwani period. Once a philosophy, a theory germinates, thousands of people start opposing that theory. Same thing happened with Anandvardhan. For about 200 years, many aestheticians refuted the theory of Dhwani propounded by Acharya Anandvardhan. First one was Dhananjay in the 10th century AD. He wrote the book Dashrupak. Dhananjay is known for his book Dashrupak. And in Dashrupak, what did he do? He included Dhwani into Tatparya Vritti, the function of the words called purport. Dhananjay, author of Dashrupak, included Dhwani into Tatparya Vritti. What is Tatparya Vritti? The function of the words. Function of the word क्या है? That is Tatparya Vritti. Tatparya means arth. And then in 10th and 11th century, another author, Kuntak, who wrote the book Vakrokti, Vakroti Jivita into Vakrokti. Vakrokti is clever speech or artful expression. And then Mahima Bhatta in 11th century, the author of another book Yakti Vivek into Anumana and inference. Apart from all this, an effort was made to include Dhwani into Abhidha. Abhidha, Vyanjana and Lakshana. These are the three types of meanings. But Abhidha means words power of direct signification and Lakshana means the power of indication. So this was the attack on Anandvardhan's Dhwani theory by Dhananjay, Kuntak and Mahima Bhatt. Right? According to Anandvardhan, the soul of poetry was Dhwani, suggestivity. But these poets, these theoreticians said, no. Dhananjay, who was the author of Dashrupak, he included Dhwani into his Tatparya Vritti, the function of the words. Kuntak, who was the author of Vakrokti Jivita, he incorporated Dhwani into Vakrokti. And Mahima Bhatt, who wrote the book Yakti Viveka, he included the Dhwani into Anuman. But Mahima Bhatt, the sorry, then another theoretician arrives. The best known, better known, and the most famous is Mammat. Mammat was the author of Kavya Prakash. Through his profound exposition, refuted all the adversaries of Dhwani, defended and re-established the theory of Dhwani indisputably, and throughout 6 centuries ahead, the doctrine of Dhwani was accepted by almost all the acharyas. Right? Mammat, who is the author of Kavya Prakash, he revived Anandavardhan's theory of Dhwani in the 11th century, and he not only revived, but his revival of theory of Dhwani was in fashion for around 6 centuries, right? For around 6 centuries, from 11th to 17th centuries, Dhwani was accepted by almost all the acharyas. And then Jayadev in the 13th century AD, who had accepted Alankara to be an inseparable component of poetry, dealt with Dhwani in his book Chandralok. Jayadev wrote the book Chandralok. Jayadev wrote the book Chandralok, and in this book Chandralok, he accepted the value of Dhwani. Though initially he was a follower of Bhama and Dandin, he was the believer in Alamkara, but he accepted the real worth of Dhwani. And then in 14th century, another Acharya, Acharya Vishwanath. Though Acharya Vishwanath established Rasa as the Atman of soul, he was the true follower of Vishwanath, was the true follower of Bharat Muni. He said that Ras is the Atma, essence of poetry, yet while treating the theory of Dhwani with all its varieties and sub-varieties in his book Sahitya Darpan, accepted Rasa as an important variety of Dhwani. Right? He wrote the book Sahitya Darpan, and in the book Sahitya Darpana, he accepted Rasa as an important variety of Dhwani. The last Acharya was Pandit Raj Jagannath. Right? Pandit Raj Jagannath in the 17th century AD, and he also advocated this theory of Dhwani with full faith in it. Right? Mammat, Jayadev and Vishwanath, these three were the revivers of Dhwani theory of Anandavardhan. Bhama and Dandin were the propagator of Alankara. Bharat Muni was the propagator of Rasa. Mammat, Jayadev and Vishwanatha, they revived, and Dhananjay Kuntak and Mahima Bhatta, they attacked the theory of Dhwani. They refuted the theory of Dhwani. Right? So you must remember all the names that I have mentioned. They are very important from your examinations point of view. Now, Mammat's Kavya Prakash. Kavya Prakash, a book that throws light on Kavya, is called Kavya Prakash. It is a compact compilation of almost all the principal doctrines of Sanskrit Poetics. Before and after Mammat, a number of acharyas also had done compilation work in the field. Prior to him, The names of Rudrat, Rajshekhar, Bhojraj and the author of Agni Purana are worth mentioning. And after him, the names of Hemchandra, Bhagvat first, Ruyak, Jaydev, Vidyadhara, Vidyanath, Bhagvat second, Vishwanath, Keshav Mishra and Kabikarnpura. All these acharyas collected in their books almost all components of poetry which had come into existence up to their time, but Muhammad's Kavya Prakasha was unique. His Kavya Prakasha was unique. He wrote everything in a very compact way. He compiled the entire Sanskrit poetics about entire Indian poetics into a single book. Apart from these acharyas, two other are especially worthy of mention: Bhanu Mishra and Appa Dikshit. Bhanu Mishra and Appa Dikshit two deserve their name. Bhanu Mishra has authored two treatises, namely Rash Tarangini, that dealt mainly with Rasa, and Ras Manjari, that dealt mainly with Nayak Naika Bheda. These two books by Bhanu Mishra. The two books, which two books? Number one, Ras Tarangini, dealing mainly with Rasa, and Rash Manjari, dealing mainly with Nayak Naika Bheda, the classification of the characters of the epic, drama, etc. And Appa Dikshit is the author of three books: Vrittivartika, dealing with Shabda Shakti, the power of word. Next one is Kuvalananda and Chitramimansha, dealing with Alankaras. Bhanu Mishra and Appa Dikshit, right? They were also the proponents. They also collected the principles of poetics in their books. Sanskrit acharyas not only expounded the doctrines about poetic forms but about the drama also. The vast content of Natya Shastra by Bharat indicates that this work is the result of the tradition of the dramatic art prevalent in this country for the last many centuries prior to the existence of Bharat Muni. After Bharat, this tradition ceased together. The probable reason might be that the various concepts about poetic art were so profound, extensive and progressive that the acharyas became disinclined towards the formation of the principles connected with dramaturgy. Another reason might be that the content of Natya Shastra is so wide and also related to many aspects like the various kinds of actors and actresses, their mode of acting at various occasions and situations, the movement of limbs of the body while dancing, the size and shape of the stage, that it was a challenge for the writers to formulate new doctrines about dramaturgy surpassing those stated in Natya Shastra. It was, however, about 13th-14th century later that the acharyas like Dhananjay Sagar Nandi, Ramchandra, Gunachandra, Saraditanya, and Simag Bhupala wrote their treatises exclusively on dramaturgy and resurrected this part of poetics. Vishwanatha also probably influenced the Dasharupak of Dhananjay, included one chapter on dramaturgy in his famous work Sahitya Darpan. The subject matter of Nayak Bheda, the classification of heroes and heroines, in our opinion, is more concerned with dramatics than the poetics. That is why all the above said authors of the dramatics have necessarily included this topic in their work. Apart from them, there are a few other writers who dealt exclusively with the topic of dramaturgy in their treatises, namely Rudrat, Rudrat, Rudrabhatta, Bhojraj, who was the author of Agni Purana, Bhanu Mishra, Rupa Goswami, and Sant Akbar Shah. These writers included a chapter on dramaturgy in their works, in their books. Right? Another topic of the works on poetics is Kavi Shiksha, the instructions for the poets as to how to create their works. Vagbhat II, Kshemendra, Keshav Mishra, Amarchandra Yati, Devdarshan and other acharyas have shed light on Kavi Shiksha along with other topics. It is important to note that among all the acharyas from Bharat to Jagannath, the following ones should be designated as the originators, as they have established new dogmas in the field of poetics, and they are Bharat, Bhama, Vaman, Anandvardhan and Kuntak, while other acharyas have compiled the principles and statements which were already prevalent in this area of discipline. The following acharyas, however, have their particular and remarkable place in this respect: Mammat, Vishwanath and Jagannatha. Right? These three have their exclusive place, have their different place from others in Sanskrit poetics. Alright, so it was the first class and it was an introduction to Sanskrit poetics, and in the next section I will talk about another angle of Sanskrit poetics. Thank you so much for watching the channel. Thank you so much for showing your interest. I hope you would have liked today's class. Right? If you have liked, then please do mention in the comment box and do share the channel among your friends so that they could get the benefit of this class as well. And this class is equally important for MA semester 4 semester 3 examination, as Sanskrit poetics is the part of the syllabus, and in UGC NET and SET questions are asked from Sanskrit poetics. Thank you so much for joining me. Thank you so much for enjoying the lecture. Good luck.